NFL we go. Aaron Rodgers, as usual, in the headlines over the weekend as he was preparing for the American Century Championships. He was asked about his former teammate, Davante Adams, and the four-time MVP said, quote, "I can't wait to play with him again." Well, now another great receiver, Randy Moss, has weighed in on what he thinks would be best for Davante.
I don't see why he shouldn't. I really don't see why he should not chase a ring. If it's any fit, you know, speaking about a guy like Davante Adams, go back with your quarterback, man, and Aaron Rodgers. They made some great things happen. I mean, that would look good, him at the Jets.
Oh, yes, it would. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, it would.
You'd like
so,
that.
D. Wood, you are my resident former Jet. You were there. You slept in my house the night of the disaster that was the Aaron Rodgers Monday night game.
What a comment.
Can you? Yes, that's a weird way to put it, but it is what happened. Can you manifest this? Does it make sense? Let's start with that. Well, no, I have to start with Graziano. I'm sorry. This conversation makes me lose my mind. Can this happen?
Sure.
Is there a reason why this is even a topic of conversation?
The reasons would be like, look, Davante Adams, latter part of his career, expensive player on a team in the Raiders that, you know, I think a lot of people probably don't have massive expectations for this year. I think that's fair to say. If they were to tumble out of contention ahead of the trade deadline, then that's a player a lot of teams would have their eye on in terms of, is he going to be available? And surely the Jets, knowing the relationship there with the quarterback, would be among those teams. So, yes, right now, I don't think there's anything imminent. I think Davante Adams is planning to start the season with the Raiders and hope to try to help them win. But if they fall out of contention and the Jets are in contention at the deadline, yes, obviously, very realistic.
D, would we like it?
Yeah, I like it. I like it because there's no tomorrow for GM, you know, Joe Douglas and head coach Robert Saleh. It's everything is right here, right now. When you got Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, and listen, you have this talented roster that the Jets have, and I know we talk about on paper, but they truly do have one of the most talented rosters in the National Football League. We get to the point during the season where the Jets are in contention, and the Raiders, we know they don't really have a quarterback, and not a lot of high expectations for the Raiders. If that situation opens up, you absolutely pull the trigger on that one. You absolutely do. Because, again, we don't know what it's going to be like in 2025 and beyond for the Jets. You got to take advantage of this window that you have right now with Aaron Rodgers. And if bringing in Davante Adams gets you that much closer to a Super Bowl, you absolutely pull the trigger on that.
Orlovsky, talk to me.
Yeah, I think Davante Adams plays for the Jets this season. So the reason why I say that is this. Have you watched Netflix, the receiver stuff?
Yes.
Have you seen it? Have you seen the frustration from Davante Adams? It's not that much better of a situation. One, the only reason it wouldn't happen, Greeny, is if he would feel bad about leaving Antonio Pierce, their new head coach. That's the only reason.
Antonio will be fine. He'll be fine.
Okay, but the loyalty of a competitor to a coach. One, the Raiders don't matter until they get a quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. So at some point, you got to try to go get a quarterback. Number two, if you're the Jets, why would you not? Cool, it's going to cost you a first. You haven't won a Super Bowl ever, or in like 50-something years or something like that.
Yeah,
You've already gone all in. You have to make this work. If you don't win the Super Bowl, this is going to be one of the more disappointing acquisitions and runs and wasted talented teams that we've seen in the NFL in many years. I think this is a done deal. At some point, Davante Adams plays for the Jets this season.
How do I make that my ringtone? Like that's my question. I don't know how to make a ringtone, but I want Dan saying that to be my ringtone.
You want a grown man who doesn't sound like he's gone through puberty yet to be on your ringtone?
Yeah. Yes, in this case I do. So let me just finish it with you again. Here. Right, Davante, because who was it that brought it up? What Orlovsky just brought up? Someone yesterday. It wasn't Bart Scott. Oh, it was RG3.
Yeah.
Who brought up the same thing on Receiver on that TV show on Netflix.
I've only seen the first 2 episodes.
Davante Adams apparently does not seem excited, and I think a lot of people would understand why he's not enthusiastic.
I think it's important to present this the right way with Davante Adams because he has not made trouble with the Raiders. Like he has not asked out. He has expressed displeasure at the way things have gone. He went there to play with Derek Carr, his college friend, and Derek Carr was gone within a year. And obviously they haven't won at the level that Davante Adams would like to win. But he has also said, I'm gonna stick it out. I'm gonna see if I can help. I'm here. I'm gonna make the best of it. Now, does that change in the next 3 months? Possible.
Oh, yeah.
But at this point, that is not where his mind is. As frustrated as he is in those clips on receiver.
Okay, I am 1,000% in on this. D. Wood, outstanding work this morning. We have to let you go here. I know you got stuff cooking this morning. We always appreciate you jumping in. We'll talk to you as the week continues. For Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze and all the very high-profile Bears rookies, we're going to, Dan Graziano is going to explain to you in a moment where there may be a little bit of a hitch there. But in a world where all that works out fine, Booger, do you think this is a playoff team?
Greeny, it's very, very tough for a rookie quarterback to lead a team to the playoffs. And I give Matt Eberflus a lot of credit. The defense is playing better. They were top 10 toward the second half of the season. Offensively, they have a lot of talent with DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen. Caleb Williams is going to be a good quarterback. But there's going to be an acclimation period for a rookie quarterback to come into the National Football League. And we're talking about playoffs. To take a team to the playoffs, that means they're going to have to be a lot better than just above 500. I just don't think he can do that, although Caleb Williams is a sensational talent.
So, again, the rookies are reporting today, but the really high-profile ones may not be. Dan, you were explaining this to me earlier this morning.
Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, the other top 10 pick the Bears made, haven't yet signed their rookie contracts. Now, they participated in OTAs and minicamp, but you can sign a waiver as a rookie who hasn't yet signed his contract to participate in those portions of the offseason. There is no such waiver for training camp. So in the absence of signed contracts, Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze aren't actually allowed to report to training camp. They can't be in the building. So unless this gets worked out this morning, and again, checked in on this yesterday, I have been told not to worry, no drama, making progress. The Bears do not seem concerned about this issue, but technically, as of now, unless there's some news we don't know about yet, those guys aren't allowed to be there.
All right, fair enough. So today, go ahead, Booger. I can see you're jumping in here. Go, Boog.
Yeah, my question is for Graz. Graz, there's a slotted system, so what seems to be the holdup with a quarterback and a receiver? Can you explain that to me?
Specifically in these cases, I'm not entirely sure. I think Caleb Williams working without an agent, that may be slowing the process down a little bit. But more often than not, it's about specific contract language, right? Like maybe there's something in there about, historically with the Bears, there was an issue, remember, with Roquan Smith as a rookie where there was some suspension language. I'm not suggesting that's the case here, but that's an example. Also, the timing of signing bonus payment is another big thing they argue about, right? When do you actually get the signing bonus money? You get it all up front. You get it, staged over the next couple months, et cetera. So those are the kinds of things that can hold it up.
Okay, so let's live in a world. Today's July 16th.
Yes.
So by no means are we going to act like this is a big deal, right? We get to July 26th and they're still not in there, then we'll start worrying about that. Let's live in a world, Dan Orlovsky, where they get this thing figured out and it goes on pretty quickly. How fast do you expect Caleb Williams to look like a really good NFL quarterback?
If their offensive line stays healthy by late October, I think that to Booger's point, there's going to be some time early on where he has a moment or two of struggle, that the NFL, in the reality of the NFL, gets to him, especially some of the unique defenses that he's going to see early on in the season. He's going to see defensive lines with both the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts that are really good units, the Jacksonville Jaguars. So maybe not dominant teams, but I think there's some unique defenses that he's going to see. And I think that you're going to have moments where Caleb looks like he did at USC winning the Heisman Trophy. And you're going to have moments where you sit there and go, man, you can't do that in the NFL in that moment. And so, but I expect him to settle in. He's a very smart young man. He's going to have really good talent around him. Shane Waldron's worked with some young quarterbacks who's their offensive coordinator. I think by late October, that's when we start to sit there and say, all right, Chicago looks like they've got a good player.
You know, Dan, sometimes bars get set very high, maybe unrealistically high. And I can see a lot of fans who were going to look at the season C.J. Stroud had last year. He was very highly touted coming out of college, but not as highly as Caleb Williams.
Yep.
He walked into a situation that no one thought, on paper at least, looked anywhere near as good as the situation that Caleb walks into. And yet C.J. Stroud looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL from the day the season started. Why will it not be that? Go.
Yeah, you can't make that comparison because what C.J. came from at Ohio State and Ryan Day and what Caleb's coming from with Lincoln Riley. You know, when C.J. was at Ohio State, it was very pro-style offense that he played in last year under Bobby Slowick in Houston. It was under center. It was play action. It was true NFL pass game concepts that he had hundreds and hundreds of reps on seeing, even though it was at the college level. Caleb's not coming from that similar type of system and going to that. Lincoln's system is spread out. It's very RPO-centric. It's very college-centric. Now, Caleb can get to that point, but CJ had such a good, strong foundation of understanding the X's and O's of football from Ohio State and Ryan Day to Houston that Caleb doesn't have. Now, I think Caleb's smart enough to get there, but he's not going to hit the ground running because of that the way that CJ did.
Two things he's got that Stroud didn't have, and you mentioned it, Dano, the offensive line. Houston had a quality offensive line, but it was very injured last year. They had a hard time getting that group on the field, especially the first half of the season, and he overcame that. And then his receiving core was very young, right? Whereas Caleb's working the veteran receiving core, right? You got Keenan Allen, you got DJ Moore, in addition to the rookie Rome Odunze. So those are two advantages he has that maybe Stroud didn't. But Dano's point about the differences in the college offense, I think, is one that a lot of people don't have a lot of, maybe as much appreciation for. It's important to remember.
The beauty of being able to ask him questions like that. Go ahead, Booger.
It is.
Guys, there's some validity to what both Dans are saying, but don't be surprised if midway through the season, we're having a conversation very similar to what we had last year, meaning the number 2 pick, Jaden Daniels, looks better than the number 1 pick, Caleb Williams. Just like we had last year with C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, because there are a lot of people out of Washington telling me that this young man, Jaden Daniels, not only does he look the part, his teammates know he looked the part. And I think Caleb Williams is going to struggle, and I think Jaden Daniels is going to come out the gate flying. And we're going to have this conversation, Greeny. Mark it down, July the 16th, whatever it is, it's 100 degrees. Did the Chicago Bears make the right pick?